What's going on, Raw Deal Universe? It's your boy Hog Trail, aka the GOAT, here with episode 3 of Git Good. I've been really happy with the response I've gotten from the first 2 episodes, and let's keep the momentum going. So I've got Arn Anderson and Dusty Rhodes over here in the backstage because we've covered them before. Let's hope we get some more variety, someone who's not a legend or WCW, but that's what the luck of the draw is all about. So let's see who we have. Team Angle, the world's greatest tag team. All right, this I like this one. Let's go with it. All right, here we are with the Octagon deck builder. We're going to be building Team Angle. I've loaded up my face shell. I've recently just added playing by the rules to the shell because it's a card that should really go in every face deck. It's free to play. That's on me for just not having it in my shell, but it's in there now. So you know, your standard cards are going to be in my shell. Again, hold that phone. There's the card. So we'll see where our all right. So first, already Team Angle cannot pack Here Comes the Cavalry because Here Comes the Cavalry cannot be packed when you can pack the tag team title belts. So that card has to go away. And while that is a good card, it won't be too big of a deal based on where the deck is going to go. So let's look up Team Angle. So Team Angle is a 6 hand size 2 value. When you successfully play a grapple or submission maneuver, you can put 1 card from your ringside pile on the bottom of your arsenal. And when your opponent reverses a grapple or submission maneuver, he discards 1 card. You may play the cards titled Intelligence, Integrity, Intensity, and Do You Live by the 3 Eyes? You cannot play any title belt except the tag team title belts. So they got a couple things going on. They have built-in recovery. They have a really good ability for making your opponent discard, because that reversal effect happens even if they discard from arsenal. So if your opponent overturns a reversal to your successful grapple or submission and they reverse your card, they have to discard 1. So that'll add up pretty quickly. So we're going to add them over there. Collegiate Champions. Pre-match event, shared card with Kurt Angle and Brock Lesnar. At the end of the pre-match phase, remove 1 card in your opponent's ringside from the game. When this card is in your ring area, once during each of your turns, you may discard 3 cards, look at your opponent's hand, choose 1 card, and he discards the chosen card. When this card is put into your ringside pile from your ring area, you may look at his hand, choose 1 card, and he discards the card. Okay, so Collegiate Champions is a damn good card. Brock Lesnar in particular likes it because he can just pick up his moves that he discards for it. Kurt Angle likes it because he can pack all those extra face and heel cards, so he gets the steel chain shots and they don't really go against his build. However, Team Angle, in my experience with them, they don't really need this card. I'll add it for now, but it honestly might get cut because, you know, discarding 3 is a big cost. And if your opponent has "Don't Try This at Home" in their hand and they play it, then you have to discard 2 more. And yes, you would get to get rid of 2 cards in your opponent's hand if they do that, but that's discard 5 to make your opponent discard 2. And you lose Collegiate Champions for the rest of the game, and you lose the turn. I don't know. And you're going to be making your opponent discard a lot anyway, so it might not be worth it. So I'll put it in for now, but that's very tentative. Leapfrog Stun Gun, 30 fortitude trademark finisher, 25 damage, 3 stun, can only be reversed by unique cards. That's really good. And can only be played after a successfully played 4 damage or greater maneuver. It's also SmackDown, so this will brand us SmackDown. this card's really good. It's one of the better trademark finishers in the game, in my opinion. There's only a couple of non-specific cards that reverse this card. Divine Intervention and Out of Nowhere are the two I can think of off the top of my head. There's probably other virtual cards that I'm just not thinking of. One-on-one with the Undertaker, I think. Unless that doesn't hit a specific. I don't remember off the top of my head. Oh, wait, I can go look it up. Name one-on-one with the Undertaker. Non-superstar specific. All right. So Leapfrog Stun Gun is really good. So that will certainly be going in. Submit. It is a 4 fortitude action setup, but it is unique, so you only get to pack one of them. It also has a SmackDown logo. Put one submission maneuver card from your ringside pile into your hand and search your arsenal for the card titled Maintain Hold. Reveal it, put it in your hand, and shuffle. Again, this card is, it's okay. I don't think it's gonna make it into this deck because honestly, I would just rather pack another maneuver. I don't think we're gonna be packing Maintain Hold. It doesn't really work much for Team Angle. It's fine, but I think I'm just gonna skip this card. It's all about the Benjamins. 9 fortitude reversal. SmackDown, reverse any card and end your opponent's turn. Search your arsenal for one card, put it in your hand, and shuffle. Amazing card. Not much to talk about. It's just really good. Reverse any card is one of the greatest lines in Raw Deal. And then you get to search your arsenal for any one card. So it's great. It also reverses cards from arsenal. So if you can somehow keep shuffling it into your arsenal, you can have basically another divine every turn or every time it gets overturned. The Haas of Pain, submission / reversal submission. 15 fortitude, 15 damage, SmackDown. As a reversal, reverse any submission maneuver and end your opponent's turn. So you will more than likely never play this as a maneuver. However, you will love every moment of the game if you play this card as a reversal. If your opponent plays something like the Maneuver of Doom and you say, you know, okay, here's the Haas of Pain, eat 15 damage. That's a lot. 15 is 1/4 of your opponent's arsenal, unless he's, you know, Andre the Giant or I guess Mae Young or whatever. But Haas of Pain is a great reversal. As a maneuver, it's forgettable. World's Greatest Suplex. It is a grapple. Multi-unique, 1 stun, 4 fortitude, 8 damage. When successfully played, you can put 1 maneuver from your ringside into your hand. This card is fine. There's nothing wrong with this card. It's not amazing. I will add it for now with the caveat that it might go away depending on the rest of the deck. Greco-Roman Specialists, 10 fortitude, mid-match action chain. Put 1 grapple and 1 submission maneuver from your ringside into your hand, and then put 1 backlash card from your ringside into your backlash. When this card is in your ringside pile during your turn, you can discard 3 cards and put this card into your backlash deck. It's a good card and it's chain. There's no reason not to have it, so we're going to put it in there. All right, now we get to the virtual support. This card is pretty good. The World's Greatest Tag Team, pre-match storyline. Choose one. At the end of the pre-match phase, you can put any number of take care of number 1 cards from your backlash into your ring, or your ability now reads when you successfully play a hold or throw, put 1 card from your ringside pile on the bottom of your arsenal, and blah, blah, blah. We don't care about holds or throws because we're not going to be using revolution cards. So let's look at taking care of number 1. Or is it take care of number 1? Take care of number 1. All right. It is a pre-match event. When this card is in your ring area, when you successfully play a card to your ring area that shuffles any number of cards from your ringside into your arsenal, shuffle in 1 additional card. If your superstar is Team Angle, when you successfully play a grapple or submission maneuver, you may put one card from your ringside pile on the bottom of your arsenal. So that means that when you successfully play a maneuver and you have 3 of these in your ring, you get to bury 4 ringside cards, because remember, they get the one from their ability as well. That is really good. It eats up 3 pre-match spots, but I don't think anyone is going to complain about that. So we're definitely going to add 3 of them to our Backlash deck. Plus, of course, the world's greatest tag team. The new gold standard. Your Shelton Benjamin specific actions are multis. Ace, during your turn, you can remove this card from the game, and if your next card played is a high risk, ignore the can only be played after text, and this effect cannot be reversed. This card just isn't particularly good for Team Angle. It makes Greco-Roman Specialists multi. I'm not going to be playing any high risks, so this card just isn't going to make it. If I was making a Shelton Benjamin deck, I would think about it, but as far as this Team Angle deck goes, it's not going to happen. Collegiate Wrestling Skill, Backstage Area. Cannot be packed when packing corners, except Revolution Kurt Angle's in my corner. That line doesn't matter. When you have lower fortitude, ignore can only be played on your Leapfrog Stun Gun. Your superstar specific actions are multi, and once during each of your turns, you may search your arsenal for one non-unique Fortitude 0 maneuver, reveal it, put it in your hand, and shuffle. So this really helps them claw back if their opponent is maybe beating them up a little bit early. They get to search their arsenal for a non-unique 0 Fortitude maneuver every turn. They'll always have something to play. And, you know, if it's late game and your opponent has more fortitude, you can just play Leapfrog Stun Gun just without having to worry about setting it up. And your superstar specific actions are multi. You know, you might think, but they don't have many actions. However, remember that they get to pack intensity, integrity, intelligence, and you live by the 3 eyes. So let's look up card angle. Integrity. If you have the cards titled Intensity and Intelligence in your ring area, shuffle up to 7 face or heel cards from your ringside into your arsenal. When this card is in your ring, you may draw 1 additional card during your draw segment. I'll take that. Intelligence, it has the same text as the other one as far as the shuffle in 7. When this card is in your ring, your opponent plays with his hand revealed. That sounds good. Your opponent might not have much of a hand, but you'll be able to see what they do have. Intensity, when this card is in your ring, your maneuvers are +3 damage. Sounds good to me. And then do you live by the 3 eyes? Search your ringside arsenal for the cards title, intensity, integrity, and intelligence. Reveal them to your opponent, put them into your hand and shuffle. Those cards cannot be reversed for the rest of the turn. And when this card is in your ring area, those cards are permanent. So if your opponent has already blown through their restricted use in this area, then it would be very difficult for them to reverse you live by the 3 eyes and intensity, integrity, intelligence, because they would need to have well, they could reverse do you live by the 3 eyes because it's just a regular multi-action. So now once is enough and get the F out will reverse it. But if this card is successful, then intensity, integrity, intelligence cannot be reversed and are multi. So they would need to have 2 sidewalk slams or whatever in order to reverse it. So we're going to put that in. And remember, Greco-Roman Specialist lets you pick up a backlash card and put it in your backlash deck. So let's say they do reverse Do You Live by the 3 eyes, and they don't reverse Greco-Roman Specialist, you can attempt to play Do You Live by the 3 eyes again. So that's the specifics. We're at 37 arsenal cards already. But remember, we might not pack World's Greatest Suplex. Hold the Phone is always on the bubble. Other than that, it looks like a pretty normal standard deck. So let's just get right down to it. Team Angle is all about making your opponent discard and also recovering your ringside. That sounds a lot like they lean towards the chain trait. Now, the chain trait recently got shenanigans. So the chain trait is when you play, in order for your opponent to play a reversal to a chain maneuver, he has to discard 2 cards. So what the shenanigans does is if any player has 4 cards or less in their hand, they may overturn instead of discarding for the chain trait. So if your opponent has 4 cards in his hand, he can overturn 2 to attempt to reverse your chain maneuver. That sounds like it's a big shift, which in some sense it is. However, it does make the chain trait a lot more fair than it used to be, because nothing was worse than having, 2 cards in your hand. One of them is your trademark finisher that reverses a grapple and your opponent plays quick snap body slam, and you can't play that, However, Team Angle's ability to make your opponent discard, that's not part of the chain trait. So they absolutely have to discard for that. So to me, they scream chain. So let's go to, let's do format contains ass. Remember, that's our fun joke to cut out all of the revolution cards because we don't need them. Superstar logo equals, and then you just leave it blank. That cuts out all specifics that we don't care about. Trait contains chain. These are all of the printed chain cards in the game. So let's pick out the ones that we like the best. Face driver is not worth it. Vertical DDT drop has a throwback that if we do pack this card, we'll pack the throwback one. Quick snap body slam. This is the #1 starting move of any chain deck. It's a 4 damage grapple chain, 0 fortitude. When successfully played, if your next card this turn is a maneuver, it cannot be reversed from back. Simple as that. It's good. There's no doubt about it. Body lock is a card that I like. I'll put them in for now, but we might take one out, or we might take out all 3, depending on how the rest of the deck looks. Wraparound Wristlock is another good starting card for chain. It's the same text as Quick Snap Body Slam, but it is a 3 damage submission. Apply Legal Leverage has a throwback that's much better. Chain Wrestling, we don't need. Chained Heat is interesting because it's a card that can be played over and over again because it discards itself. However, it only shuffles in chain cards. And I think there's another card that I'm going to put in here that would work better that I'm just going to do now. I think we're going to add Throwback Iron Will. So Throwback Iron Will is an action / reversal, 0 fortitude, 0 damage. As an action, discard this card and shuffle up to 2 cards from your ringside into your arsenal that are not titled Iron Will, and your opponent discards 1. As a reversal, when overturned, reverse any submission maneuver in your opponent's turn. So this card makes your opponent discard a card. It allows you to recover 2 cards. And then let's say your grapple or submission is successful and your team angles, so you can bury potentially 4 ringside cards. Yeah, give me a couple of them. I'll put 2 in for now. Having 3 would not be crazy, but I think 2 is plenty. Chain finisher honestly isn't great. If we somehow have room in our mid match, then sure, we can add it, but it's really not that good. Atomic Spinebuster is good. I don't always pack it. It's got a high fortitude cost. It does a lot of damage. However, we are going to pack Atomic Driver, and if your team angle Atomic Driver makes Atomic Spinebuster maybe worse because it turns it from a grapple to a high risk. So I'm going to add for now 3 Atomic Drivers. That'll probably get cut to 2, but for now it's 3. Leg Lock is not worth it. This is the throwback vertical DDT drop. It's almost the same card, except it's cheaper and easier to play. Stranglehold, we're not heal, so we can't pack that. This is the throwback legal leverage. It's better, but again, they can only be played even though it's only after a card. I think I'm just going to want to spam maneuvers rather than try to set maneuvers up. Ankle Lock. This is a good card for Team Angle because your opponent's going to be discarding anyway. It's a submission chain, 0 fortitude, 2 damage. When successfully played, your opponent discards a card. And also when it's successfully played, we get to bury 4. If it's unsuccessfully played, opponent's going to discard 2 for the chain trait. They're going to play a reversal, and then they're going to discard a card. So that's potentially 4 cards from their hand that they're going to get rid of. And it's 0 fortitude, so we can go and search for it. Throw. This card is the most underrated card for Team Angle. So on its surface, Throw just looks like a 2 damage, 0 fortitude grapple chain. When successfully played, shuffle up to 2 cards from your ringside into your arsenal, or remove 1 card in your opponent's ringside from the game. So with this card is successful, not only do they bury 1 for their superstar ability, not only do they bury 3 more for taking care of number 1, but they also shuffle in 2 from the text of Throw, and taking care of number 1 increases that amount by 1 card for each copy of taking care of number 1. So that's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cards shuffled in, plus the 4 cards from your ability and the other effect of taking care of number 1. That's a 9 card recovery. That's more than Matt Hardy recovers when he plays a grapple. Throw is absolutely a staple for Team Angle. Now look, we're at 57 cards. That's not many. Toss. Toss is a card that I think is fine, but I don't think we'll need it in this deck. Atomic Driver, we already have. Go Behind, not very good. Grab is decent, but I don't think we're going to need it in this deck. I think 1 copy of Rest Hold is good enough. Rest Hold is a card that can be sneaky good, and Team Angle can search for it. So we'll have 1 for now, but again, it's not a card that they need, but it's a good card. Flawless Execution is a chain action that allows them to recover a card when they successfully play a maneuver. I think that might be overkill at this point because we already have the taking care of number 1s and our superstar ability. Personal Vendetta is not worth it. I Won't Stop isn't particularly good. The Switch is a decent card, but not really for us because we're hopefully going to be recovering a lot of ringside. Atomic Bear Hug is sneaky decent. It's a mid-match submission chain, 3 fortitude, 7 damage, can only be played after a grappler submission, and it cannot be reversed your opponent's backlash. So you're not going to be hit with backlash. You're not going to be hit with cow. They can play Road to Victory to it, so just make sure you don't have 15 cards in your hand. So that card will be going in the deck, at least for now. Again, small package generally isn't worth it. It's more funny if you win with it than it is good. I imagine it's probably better in them than it is a lot of other people, but it's really not. Pendulum Backbreaker is a card I like because it makes itself 4 fortitude when you have lower fortitude. So for now, I'll put it in, but again, it might come out. Bear Hug, I like Bear Hug, but at the same time, I'm always frightened to play Bear Hug because it's the worst card for your opponent to play Undermine the Competition too, because then you lose all your maneuver fortitude. So I usually don't end up packing it. It's a decent card, but it's just not worth it because if my opponent is raw, then it just becomes a dead card in my arsenal or in my hand or wherever it is. So we're going to leave it out for now. Hitting my stride, not worth it. In this ring, not worth it. Big splash in the corner. On the surface is decent because it's a chain high risk, but high risk don't really do much for us. Scoop Slam. We need this card. So Scoop Slam is a multi-grapple chain. 2 damage, 0 fortitude. We're going to be packing 3 of them. And we're now over. So we're at 63 cards right now. Chained Aggression. Chained Aggression is an underrated card. It's a 3 fortitude chain action that makes your opponent discard equal to the number of chain moves in your ring area, and the max you can discard is 3. That can add up quick. So Chained Aggression is good, but again, we're going to be making our opponent discard so much that this card might just be kind of overkill. So I don't think we're going to pack it. No paid, no chain, draw 3, shuffle 3 cards to ring pile in your arsenal, and then discard 3. It's not very good. Ready to Fight is one of the better mid-match cards. But it's not necessarily great for a chain deck in particular. I will add it to the mid-match for now, but unless you're packing 2 or 3, it's usually not worth it. And I don't know if we're going to have room for 2 or 3. So it's there for now. Vertical Power Bomb and where is it? Atomic Body Lock are basically just heat cards. Heat cards in our deck are just going to go away, so they're not going to worry about it. Atomic Power Slam is a big old grapple, but it's not particularly good, so we're not going to use it. Vice Lock is cheater. Fujiwara Armbar is cheater. That's a high risk. Leaping DDT is okay because it's another card that when you play a maneuver, you can bury it. So when this card's in your ringside pile and you play a move, you can bury it, and then you can bury 1 for your ability and 3 more for each take care of number 1s. So that's a 5-card ringside swing. So for now, I'll add a couple of them. Again, it might be might not make it. Stretch Opponent, not great. If you have chain actions, it's fine, but that's not going to really be a big part of our strategy. Throwback Maneuver Doom isn't as good as regular one. Throwback Ready to Fight isn't as good. Flawless Transition might be the best chain card in the game. It's really good for Team Angle. So, all right. So, cannot be packed by Shelton Benjamin Test or New Nexus. Can only be played with a non-superstar specific printed Fortitude 0 chain maneuver. When played, choose grapple or submission, and this card is considered to be only the chosen type for the rest of the turn. Your opponent cannot play oversell maneuver in response, and unless both maneuvers are reversed when played, both are successfully played. So this helps you get started as a chain deck, which is typically the most difficult thing to do in the game, really, is to get started. So this card helps you do that quite a lot. It basically makes your opponent have to reverse 2 chain moves, which is not easy to do because you have to discard 2, reverse the Flawless, discard 2, reverse the, let's say, Quick Snap Body Slam. And then, oh yeah, we're Team Angle. So my opponent just reversed 2 grapples or submissions. So now he has to discard 2 more. So that is a total of 6 card discard and then 2 cards to reverse. So that could potentially be 8 cards out of your opponent's hand, and which can be crippling to your opponent. So that is going to take our number 1 spot in our mid match. And then the Maneuver Doom is a good maneuver. However, if it's in your ringside, especially as Team Angle, it just removes itself with the heat trait. And again, we might not have this giant ringside pile, so its own effect might not work out the way it usually would in another superstar. So we're going to leave it out for now. So we have 65 cards right now. Integrity, Intensity, and Intelligence. I'm just going to say it right now. We're gonna cut the World's Greatest Suplex. If it was chain, I would keep it, absolutely, but it's not, so it's going away. I mean, I'm sorry, but hold the phone. You're not going to cut it. We have to cut 2 more cards. We'll cut 1 atomic driver, and I'm leaning 1 elbow to the face because while it is good as it's good as an early game reversal, and it can help reverse stuff from Arsenal. More and more maneuvers recently have had damage pumped up, so we're going to cut that. So that's a 60 card arsenal right there. And with team angle, they can search for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, and then Steinbuck's time, even 17, 18. They can search for 18 of these moves if they have lower 14. Now, you might be thinking a lot of these moves have kind of small damage. That's okay because it adds up quickly, especially when your opponent is discarding really no matter what. So don't worry about that. And your opponent is more inclined to let small maneuvers go through, even if they can reverse it. And for each maneuver that we play, we get to recover cards. So that's really good. All right, so let's look at card type pre-match. So we already have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pre-match slots, pre-match cards packed. So 1, 2 of them take up a slot. 1 does not take up a slot, and these 3 put themselves in the ring at the end. So let's see. Again, we're face. So we can at least try to product endorsements our opponent. If they go first, then that's okay. So Old School Psychology is a great card for team. Well, it's a great card for anyone, but especially team. When this card's in your ring area, your opponent cannot play Old School Wrestling Match. And when he plays a backlash card, he discards 1 card. When he plays a backlash card, not even successfully plays. So let's say your opponent wants to reverse your chain maneuver with a mid-match card. They would discard 2 for the chain trait. They would play a mid-match reversal, discard 1 for Old School Psychology. And then once that maneuver is reversed, they would discard another 1 for your superstar ability. So without hesitation, that will go in. And product endorsement gives you +2 pre-match. So it all works out. So those 2 don't count. 1, 2 doesn't count, and they don't count. So 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's 4 pre-match cards that we have to worry about. So let's look up card text contains chain. I mean, Calgary is an amazing venue. We don't have a huge hand size, so the effect of Hometown Hero might hurt you a lot by giving you the -2 hand, but the effect of Calgary is too good to ignore. So since Team Angle is a 2 superstar value, their opponent has a really good chance of getting to play a venue first. However, Hometown Hero lets you play a venue when your opponent has a venue in his ring. And if you do, and your venue is not superstar specific, your starting hand size is -2. So that can bump us down. However, Calgary is such a good card. Unbreakable Chain is also a good card, especially for Team Angle. They can really shred their opponent's hand pretty quickly. It might be a luxury for us, but I'll put 1 in just for now. Chain Reaction it's fine. It's nothing special. Restart the match won't do much for us. History, no. Altogether, no. Marquis Says Wrestling is fine. It's good if you're in a hybrid reversal heavy meta. But I just don't think it's going to make it for us. Old School Cage Match is a great card. However, Team Angle does not like this because it negates the effects of Take Care of Number One. So Old School Cage Match actually hurts Team Angle more than it hurts their opponent. Tech in a Bottle is good. However, we have plenty of playable chain maneuvers already, and if we have lower fortitude, we can search. So I just don't think we're going to need Tech in a Bottle. We can always come back to it if we feel that we do. Before I go too far, I just remembered something. So we are, well, we're not a tag team. We can pack the tag team title belts. So let's look up tag team title. So a lot of these cards can be played when you can play the tag team title belts. So I'm going to see if there's anything that we want to use. Handicap Match will absolutely be going in. So Handicap Match can only be played when you can pack the tag team title belts. Can only be played when your opponent cannot pack the tag team title belts. Your starting hand size is +1. Your opponent's starting hand size is -1. Your pre-match and mid-match capacity are +2. And once during each of his turns, when you reverse a maneuver from hand, put up to one random card from your ringside pile on the bottom of your arsenal, and you cannot play the champions here. So this does a whole lot of stuff. So number one, adding 1 to your hand size is great. Adding or subtracting 1 for your opponent's hand size is good, especially in a chain deck. It gives your pre-match and mid-match +2, which is really good. So it's basically a free card +1, and having extra mid-match always helps. And the underrated effect of this, which also gets forgotten a lot, once during each of your opponent's turns, when you reverse a maneuver from hand, you get to randomly bury a ringside card. And Team Angle already has a lot of built-in recovery. So that effect can really help them out. Classic Teamwork's a great reversal. It's a 4 fortitude, 2 damage, unique mid-match reversal. Can only be packed by the People's Team Dangerous Alliance or when your superstar indicates you are a tag team or accept the tag team title belts. Cannot be packed by Los Guerreros. Reverse any non-superstar specific non-maneuver card or any activated card effect. Draw 2 and discard 1. That's good. It hits a lot of actions, and it also hits activated card effects, which is super strong, especially when it's available in your mid-match at such a cheap fortitude cost. So if you get to Flawless and Quick Snap, there's your 4 fortitude right there. Is there anything else? I don't think we're going to pack any of the title belts. If we were going to pack a title belt, it would be probably I don't want to pack any of these, do I? I was going to say like the WWE tag team title belts. Let's look at the original, the World Wrestling Federation tag team title belts. Gives you +2 superstar value, +1 hand size, unless your superstar card indicates blah, 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 blah. So I guess the choice we have to make is, do we want underrated superstar or do we want the tag team title belts and a better chance of starting the game? I think we've established that our pre-match capacity doesn't really matter at this point, since we have +2 from Handicap Match and possibly +2 from product endorsements, and playing by the rules doesn't take up a slot, and taking care of number 1 comes in at the end. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So we have 1 pre-match card that we can pack. Unless we don't include Collegiate Champions, because we did not build our deck around the idea of having it. So if we can find a card that we like better than Collegiate Champions, we will absolutely put it in. So let's see. If we pack the tag team title belts, we would have a 6 base hand size, +1 from the autograph session, possibly -2 from Hometown Hero, but possibly not. +1 from Handicap Match. So that brings us to 8. And none of these put cards into our hand. So if we have underrated, that would give us a 7 hand size and then the ability to draw 3, but product endorsements could make us discard a card. I think I'm gonna go with underrated. The throwback one. But I mean, that's a judgment call. I'm fine with either decision, but I think more often than not, underrated is probably a better play. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So let's see. Handicap Match gives us +2. So Calgary Handicap Match won't matter. Product and Old School won't matter. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then these don't come in. So we only have 4 cards that take up a spot, which means we don't really need product endorsements, to be honest. So let's see what happens now. So we have those don't count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we have another card that we can add. So let's look at card type pre. Are there any other pre-match cards that Team Angle like? Any allegiance that I'm not thinking of? None of these really stick out to me. We have a venue. How about a feud? I mean, we can already put in tech in a bottle if we want to, but we really don't need to. Backstage politics is fine if you're going to build around it. We don't need bitter rivals because we're probably going to go first, or we're probably going to have a lower value when going first doesn't matter. I want to play the game. Oh, I know a good card for Team Angle. It's a good card for any SmackDown deck in general. How about ban from ringside? We're already SmackDown, so you know your opponent's hand size is -1. When this card's in your ring area, when your opponent reverses an action or maneuver from his hand, you can bury the maneuver instead of putting it in your ringside. That's good. That's kind of a recovery in a sense. And we have the room for it. Yeah, I don't think there's anything. I'm just doing a super quick search right now. Yeah, none of these are really jumping out at me as something that like we have to put in. I think we have a pretty solid pre-match as it is. Managed by Dawn Marie is an underrated manager. I'm not saying we're going to pack or anything, but it is a card that I think should probably get packed more. Yeah, none of these are jumping out at me. So I think our pre-match is probably good. If I find something after I'm done recording, I will absolutely update the deck list or let you know in the next video. But, you know, I think for now, I think we're good. I don't think any of the newer pre-match cards are going to do much for us. Yeah, I think we're good. I think we're good. All right, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. That's our pre-match. So we're at 23 cards. We have 1 mid-match card available. I'm gonna make the call right now to ditch Ready to Fight. It is a really good card, but we just don't need it. So now let's look at card type contains mid. So we are SmackDown and fan favorite, and I brought it up earlier. One-on-one with the Undertaker is a really good card. So we're absolutely going to do that. Anything good chain wise? I mean, there's chain finisher, but it's just not worth it. Yeah, not really. There's always Backlash, which again, Team Angle doesn't mind playing from behind. So Backlash might be a decent card to pack. Oh, let's see. Fortitude Surge is, typically card like 13 in my min match, but considering I am face fan favorite SmackDown, that offers a lot of min match room. So that might be good. Oh, I did just think of, what's good for them also? The panic moves, panic grab in particular. Because panic grab is a submission that lets you play it with a printed 4 damage or less submission. So we have ankle lock, we have rest hold, and we have wraparound wristlock. So I think panic grab, we're going to have at least one. And it might be worth getting rid of Road to Victory to add another panic grab, to be totally honest. So yeah, I think that's our deck. I will leave the deck list. I'll leave the deck list in the description of the video. I'll play a game. I'll see how it goes, and we'll go from there. Oh, I should also let you know that I've played 2 games with Dusty Rhodes and 1 game as Arn Anderson. Dusty Rhodes is 2-0. Dusty Rhodes went up against Dolph Ziggler, where Bull Rope match and Vince guest ringside announcer really helped because Dolph was spamming a lot of actions. And I don't remember off the top of my head who the other deck that Dusty beat was, but it was another good game. Dusty is pretty sneaky good right now. I played against Free Dudes Brian Pillman with Arn Anderson, and it was a really close game. Arn ended up losing because he wasn't really prepared for high risks. So that's something that I might look at with the Arn Anderson deck. But it was a really good game, and Brian Pillman's is pretty good now. So that's the report on the 2 videos I've done so far. And I hope to give you another report on Team Angle, because I think they're another really good deck that doesn't get played a lot. So I guess that's it for now. I will let you know in a future episode how it goes. Thank you for watching. Like the video, please. Share it with all your Raw Deal friends. Subscribe if you haven't. That would be awesome. And that's it. Have a good one.